that bread to use. You gotta work with what you got. Don't sweat it until you hit the top. Work with what you got. Don't forget it till you hit the spot. You gotta work with what you got. Don't sweat it until you hit the top. Work with what you got. Don't forget it till you hit the spot. Work with what you got. Work with what you got. Work with what you got. Work with what you got till you hit the spot.
All right, live show. Sorry, I muted myself off camera. So, hey, welcome to Next Up Accessories, where we connect your next up and vehicle personalization. What is vehicle personalization? Well, that is a process in your showroom to present customization to your customers to make them happy, to increase your paycheck, and give your customers what they want. By the way, it will skyrocket your CSI. According to our friend Eric Gonzalez, a successful sales professional, making vehicle personalization touch every part of your dealership is essential to your success. If your accessory sales aren't touching every part of your dealership and you aren't presenting accessories when you're selling cars, then this is the place and this is the podcast for you. For more information about vehicle personalization and Insignia Group, make sure that you go out to our website at insigniagroup.com. And remember to go to our blog, which is full of best practices and information for you to learn and to grow as a salesperson. Subscribe on there so that when we put out a new blog, you'll get it. And we really thank you for your business if you're an Insignia customer. We want to thank Side Hustle for the use of their song, Work With What You Got, appropriate for our industry and for right now, right? Find them at sidehustletheband.com. And let's dive into Next Up Accessories. So we have a fantastic show today. We are going to introduce you in a few minutes to Grady Cooper. And we're going to call him Cooper for the rest of the show because that's what he goes by. So I'll introduce him in just a few minutes. But first, let me do a little bit of a best practice as you're used to. And let's talk about a theme that we're going to talk to Cooper about all of this show, which is CSI and how accessories can help improve your CSI. So one of our great consultants and vehicle personalization experts, Roger Schmidt, who's on our team, his tip of the week is to make sure that accessories are part of your process because it does make happier customers. So this is one of those things that you can take back to your general manager today and talk to him about why you need to have a vehicle personalization process in your showroom because it will make your customers happy. It makes them happy because they get what they want when they buy the car. So they're not going over the curb and driving down the street to get to add something that they were going to add anyway. So Cameron, take me to the next slide there, please. So we talk a lot about vehicle personalization in the CSI realm, and that is your customer satisfaction index for those that are somewhat new to the industry and learning CSI. And vehicle personalization really helps to move that sales cycle along. It also is part of the customer cycle. So we got a little graphic here that talks about the full benefits that we like to talk about when we're doing our consulting to dealerships and to our customers. The full cycle of vehicle personalization and how it touches, like Eric says, it touches all parts of the dealership. So it starts in the showroom. You've got a new customer, or it starts online in today's market. You've got a customer who is excited about their vehicle. They're purchasing that vehicle for some reason, right? They're replacing, they're new, they are, they're deciding to upgrade a vehicle, and they are going to be doing things, especially in today's environment where we're traveling by car more. I think there's loads of statistics out that this summer is a huge travel summer because people are getting in the car. They're going on road trips. They're going to the mountains. They're going to the beach. They're doing things outdoors more than we've ever done that because, well, that's probably the only options we've got right now. So in that showroom experience, it increases the CSI because your customer realizes that they can get the vehicle that they really envisioned when they are going to buy the vehicle. And we've talked about this a lot, that it's a two-step process. People come in to buy the vehicle or go online to buy the vehicle, and they have this expectation of things that they're going to add that they've set aside, either money or cash or the extra bonus that they got to add those items. So it really is a two-transaction process. Again, where CSI really helps the most, though, is that is extra income that comes in from your manufacturers. It's extra profit that comes into the store. You pay salespeople better because of their higher CSI scores, and it lowers your employee turnover. Higher sales, higher profitability, and then lower compression on the margin of that new vehicle. So for more information about this wheel and how that wheel of vehicle personalization helps you, like I said, go out to our website, fill out one of the forms, have one of our folks get in touch with you and consult with you directly. Okay, so let me introduce Grady Cooper. So Cameron, bring him on, and as we bring him on, I will introduce him. So hello, Cooper. Special Projects Manager at StepOne Automotive in Crestview, Florida. He manages the daily operations for all delivery coordinators, and we're going to get into that in just a minute. They specialized in CSI, hello, that's what we were just talking about, and accessories for new and used vehicles. Cooper served 8 years in the Air Force before retiring. You are way too young to use that word. So
medical retirement. Medical retirement.
Thank you for your service. He's also a licensed realtor. He has earned degrees in political science, general science, nutrition. I'm not sure when he sleeps. We'll talk about that in a second. Besides working at StepOne Automotive and doing everything else under the sun, he builds super bike. He's a super bike ultimate road racer. So we're going to talk about that. Currently, you're building your own bike to compete in the Moto America class.
Well, this will be for a rider. I'm going to have him do it for next year. So we are building that right now with my other team. So
cool. So wait, you're going to have somebody else ride the bike?
Yes, I'll be doing the regional stuff within my ability, and then I'll have a guy. He won 12 regional championships and 2 national championships last year, and so he will be on the bike that we're building right now, actually next year. So
sweet. Well, welcome to the show. Welcome to Next Up Accessories.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So, first off, it sounds like you're one heck of an entrepreneur. I mean, starting off in the military, then getting degrees, then real estate, then, jumping into the automotive business. Mm-hmm. I guess recap your history. What's kind of driving you? What's brought you to this place?
Well, my biggest issue growing up was never really knowing what I wanted to do. I always enjoyed things. There was a lot of things, opportunities that I had to see if I did like something. I was a pharmacy tech. I was actually a mobile DJ for a little bit when I was about 18, 19 years old before I left for the military. A lot of fun things. but what it showed me is it's not necessarily what you know, it's what you know and who you know to get to where you want to be. And if you're putting in the effort, people will recognize that, and then you can have some incredible opportunities. And I've definitely been blessed with that. The military taught me a lot of very hard lessons. I think someone in their late teens, early 20s can benefit from. The biggest thing is if you don't do it for yourself, no one else will.
Yeah.
And so I've been able to take that approach and, just go and do it. That's the biggest thing.
So cool. So let's dive in, sort of head first into StepOne and the position there. StepOne is a customer of Insignia. So thank you for your business. And I know that this is a project that's been ongoing for a while, and you've just recently joined the team. The goal here is that it's a dealer group, and they want a dealer group approach to vehicle personalization, which we love, obviously.
Correct.
So talk a little bit about the philosophy of StepOne, what they're trying to accomplish with your position and with the position of the delivery coordinators. And let's introduce that, how they're going about that with you.
Gotcha. Well, step one, our biggest goal is making sure our customers are taken care of. And at the same time, we're taking care of our employees. And when you take care of your employees, they do a better job of taking care of their customers. My specific position is to take care of all our delivery coordinators. We have 14 dealerships, 3 in Georgia, the rest are in Florida. And I basically get to travel around all day and problem solve. And that's honestly probably the most fulfilling part is using the knowledge that I've gained, just in the automotive industry. Just, within the last few months, I've learned so much, but luckily I had a very good knowledge base of accessories, and that's what led me to this position. Was when you know what you're talking about, you can speak intelligently on it, and customers are a lot more receptive and more likely to spend money with you. And that's what a business is finding a way to sell the service or a product and then make it as enjoyable for the consumer as possible.
So you're definitely a gearhead. We've established that.
Yes,
and I'm bringing into some of our conversation that we had yesterday in our rehearsal. So talk to me about how you are bringing that expertise. When you say problem solver, we say a lot of times that vehicle personalization isn't rocket science. It's complicated. And there are going to be issues and there are going to be problems to solve. So talk about how you use your industry knowledge and your knowledge of just being a gearhead and really knowing what it takes to customize a vehicle. Talk to me about how that helps you in what you're doing right now.
Well, I've had 30 plus vehicles. I'm 31 years old, and I've had a full run. I've had,
that's insane, right?
Don't even count the motorcycles. That's a ridiculous number. But what it has done is shown me what products work, what products are up and coming that maybe 10 years ago, they weren't as the quality product that they are now. And I've been able to use my knowledge and use our industry basically to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And when I can portray that to our customer, when they see that knowledge, they're way more comfortable, like I said. And it basically just leads to knowing the product, knowing the customer, knowing their need, and then filling that need with your product. Because let's face it, how many vehicles out here are completely stock?
Right. Sure.
Barely any.
And you don't want that,
Correct.
Right.
And for a lot of people, especially in our, in our culture, the automobile is kind of an extension of our personality. And that's one way to express ourselves. So a lot of people find a comfort in that. It becomes a hobby. It becomes really just a way of life. I mean, some of my car friends have become some of my closest friends, business partners. That's how I ended up with StepOne, was just getting out and conversing and being a part of the community and just spreading knowledge. That's the big thing, is that when you know knowledge, kind of like we talked about yesterday, you can smell if somebody has no idea what they're talking about within a few seconds. And when you know what you're talking about, it puts a lot of things at ease. And so I've been able to use my knowledge, use my background, use my extensive car history to to basically design a plan that we take care of our customers. And I get to reach out to my fellow gearheads. Hey, I'm not familiar with this exact thing. I need your input on this.
Nice.
Oh, well, this is what works. This is what doesn't work. Thanks, man. Next time you see me, I'll buy you a coffee. We'll go out and grab lunch or something. And it's having those resources, not only the employees that understand that, but the management and director side of it. We understand that we are gearheads through and through. And I never once in my life thought what I used to do in my free time would become my job.
That's awesome.
Researching mods, researching accessories, add-ons, and really just turning it into something that people really, really endure. Like, they enjoy it and they want to make it happen. So that's our whole job.
That's awesome. Let's talk about the team that you built around you. When you came in, your first mission was to hire this delivery coordinator position. And I like that title because what it does is it kind of takes away the stigma of you're about to walk up to someone and try to sell them something.
Correct. And that's the approach we try to take.
So talk about the structure of that team and and if you don't mind, just the structure of that team and then sort of what their goal is during the sales process.
So because our delivery coordinators work with every department, we also can verify that each department has taken care of the customer appropriately. One of the first questions we ask is, how'd your salesperson do? Oh, well, by that point, they've already gone through the hard part. They've already gone the negotiations, the trade-in value. Now's the fun part. And that's what we tell them is this is the fun part that you get to enjoy. And so we want to know how the team did. And if there's anything that we need to fix immediately, we have the opportunity there. And so that also increases that customer satisfaction. That's just how it works. And so when we can make that as simple, as clean, and as efficient as possible, it puts the customer even more at ease. And then we can recommend, well, here in Florida, it's 100 degrees most of the year. It's hot. Have you thought about upgrading your window tint? And then usually that's what gets the ball rolling. Just something small, something they don't think of.
Perfect. We call that, I need a banner across the bottom of the screen right now that says lead-in product. So that's correct. That's one of our best practices right there. Come in with a lead-in product.
Absolutely.
In the smile states of the United States, tint is the perfect lead-in product.
Oh, so, absolutely.
All right, go ahead. Let's not get off track, but that's awesome.
No worries. Say again?
I said bottle that up.
Okay. One of the other things that we do with our delivery coordinators is if the customer does have a trade, I ask them to go out and look at the trade because that will tell you a lot about a person.
Perfect. Yeah.
So you might see 2 car seats in the back. Well, this person is buying a Sierra SLE that doesn't have any running boards. If they have very small children in the back, they're probably going to need something like that. And that can be your next lead in. And when you're evaluating the products, the customers, the trade-in, and your team all at the same time, you get a full picture of what's actually occurring with the customer.
Nice.
And so we can actually use that approach. And then the products basically sell themselves.
Yep.
We use Insignia to make it, as clean as possible, as simple as possible. One thing I do appreciate about Insignia is your team is always available. And even if not, they'll shoot me a message. Hey, I'll get you in 5 minutes. Give me a call. And that's the big thing is that when you have these teammates that you're working with and vendors that we work with, it makes our job that much easier. And then we give a higher quality product to the customer. So.
Well, awesome. Say it again. A little closer to the microphone. No, just kidding. So they see the customer prior to F&I or after?
Prior, yes.
Prior. Okay, great. Perfect. And then after F&I, what is their responsibility? So hopefully they've discovered that the customer needs, a trailer hitch and a bike rack and all kinds of cool stuff to add to the vehicle. After F&I, what is their responsibility? Are they truly seeing them all the way through delivery?
Yes, that's one thing. I encourage them to take ownership. Take ownership of the product, ownership of the process. We have calendars to keep tracking of installs at our 2-man shops or 2-position shops. there is constant communication. As long as you're communicating what the needs are, then we can expect them to be met. The last thing I want is someone to pull up, well, I bought this vehicle last week, I'm here to get my 10 installed, and no one has a clue. That's the worst thing, because not only do we look like fools after we just did an awesome sale, met all these needs, and collected from the customer,
Right.
now we have to make it right immediately.
Right.
Within a very narrow window.
Yeah, we always talk about the fact that part of that complication of our business, again, it's not rocket science, but it is complicated, is great, I sold something. Now what? Who does it? You know, when is it going to get installed? And so having that process, having that person work all the way through the process is awesome. Now, honest question, putting you on the spot, because this is a classic, let's call it an issue with or challenge with delivery coordinators or accessory managers, is that you don't get 100% of your turnovers. So do you get to see 100% of all the sales that are coming through the store?
That is our approach. Does it always happen? No.
Of course.
And unfortunately, that's part of it. I encourage all of our delivery coordinators to go to the sales meetings, to go to each person that they work with, and let them know what they do have to offer, because this is kind of a newer concept in the dealership world. Accessories isn't necessarily new, but the way that we are approaching it is new. So
totally true.
The biggest, I just want to give an overall polished picture. And I want to make sure that each person is coming through and each person is offered the same thing as the next. And we know sometimes there might not be any room left in the loan. Okay, well, how do we go about it? Well, here's another way that we approach it.
Right.
And I've been very blessed with a team that is very intelligent and also very tech savvy. And that's made my job that much easier, because customer follow-up is the key. They may express interest, and you have to be able to read that with the customer, just like any salesperson would. So when you're reading what this person is intrigued by, or what they say, maybe in a few months, because they, in the back of their mind, like, hey, I just spent a lot of money, I really need to think about it, I don't want to jump the gun. And I tell them, hey, that's totally fine. We respect that. Take that, write down their information, write down what they were interested in, and then follow up. Because then they'll remember we had this conversation. They might have been here for a few hours. Maybe somebody's getting hangry at the same time. So we always have to balance the customer's needs with our sales. And so what I've tried to do is make sure that they understand our approach and understand customer follow-up is our biggest way to get more sales.
Awesome. So I'm going to pause here for a second. We've got the comments section within the live feed. If you have a question for Cooper and want to post that question, we can read it out and do a little live Q&A. So just post that question in the comments. So great. So let's continue down this path of the folks that you've got working for you. I asked you yesterday, this is kind of a specialized position in the dealership. Did you go outside the dealership to find these folks, and where, or did you farm it from inside the dealership? And the pros and cons of both, in your opinion, as you've been, working this?
Some of our new hires have been people that have expressed interest from day one within the company.
Great.
Others are people that, hey, I think this is something I could really enjoy and I could be really good at. And then you have to sit down and evaluate their knowledge base, because if they don't have a knowledge base, it's going to be a very steep learning curve. Me, as an outsider to the automotive industry, I had about 3 weeks of just baptism by fire. And I would have to stop someone and say, hey, please explain that acronym. Okay, I carry around a notepad everywhere I go. Everywhere. Not only for the, being new, but because when I have an idea, I can write it down. When I have a customer need, I write it down. And then I can go through at the end of the day and I follow up. And organization, especially within the new hires is something that is critical with this, because if they don't have the organizational skills to ensure that the products are being delivered in a timely manner, scheduled in a timely manner, then they're going to drop the ball. And when they drop the ball, the whole group as a whole, we're the ones that they look at.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
me as a manager, that's part of what I do is, hey, if something was missed, I need to go make it right. How do I make it right? That's pretty much decided on the fly. Like this morning, going to get that gentleman's tire sensor fixed. It's just what you have to do.
So we had a little bit of a fun, I'll just tell the audience and let them in on it, a little bit of a fun message from Cooper about, I would say 1220, who said, hey, I'm on the road. Can I do the show from the road? And Cameron and I were both like, not while you're driving, dude. We're totally against that. No driving in video, no driving in podcast, unless you're listening. And so luckily, Cooper was able to find, to get to one of his other dealerships and tune in. But you're doing like a 12-hour crazy sort of going and picking up this vehicle. You had some issues with the vehical. You had to get the vehicle somewhat fixed and back on the road. Then, you're taking it to actually get the vehicle upgraded according to what the customer wanted. And then you're going to take it back. So bless you for, you're probably going to get at 11 o'clock tonight and be exhausted. So, but what you're bringing to light there is that's the sort of ridiculous, we call it ridiculous customer service that you've got to do in this segment of the business. One of the traditional challenges to vehicle personalization is that one time. I can't tell you the number of times that I've gone into a dealership and sat down with the management and we start trying to peel back the onion of why they just can't get it together. And it always happens. Well, you remember that one time that you did this and one time that happened. And remember that one time. And that's all it takes for a salesperson to go, peace out, y'all. I'm not doing this ever again because this cost me money. It cost me the relationship with my customer because now they're hot. And that's that one time. That's all I got. So we got to get it right. And in the store, getting it right doesn't necessarily mean, as you're talking about, it's perfect. Getting it right just means satisfying the customer. And I think you're demonstrating that, and you're building your team to demonstrate that. And that's very cool.
Correct.
Very cool. So, so we talked a little bit on the lead in of the show about CSI. You're obviously talking about that because that's part of what your delivery coordinator is there to do, is to ensure that CSI is supported. Talk to us about your philosophy there and how your team is approaching making sure the CSI is supported.
Well, obviously each manufacturer has their own way of tracking, Uconnect, Ford Pass, all those good things, different things that people look and track. So every time that they have the same conversation, I expect them to be able to do 5 stars by the end of the conversation. We want to have a perfect score by the end of the conversation because we're all human. We all have different things that happen, but it's not, is it perfect? Like you said, was it done correctly or was it made right when there was an error? And 80% of the time, there's really nothing to worry about. But, that last remaining percent, you have to make it right. And sometimes you have to go and say, look, I'm sorry, this ball was dropped. Here's what we're going to do to fix it. Or here's our plan of action. And that puts a lot of customers at ease. Like this customer today, he actually came back for these upgrades today, even after, the wrong bolt pattern was ordered for his aftermarket wheels, and we took care of it, and he was very happy with it. I just spoke to him and told him what's going on, and it led to the conversation of, well, what are your goals with the vehicle? And that turned into more sales because now he knew that he was speaking to someone that knew the product, knew what he needed, and would help him get there. And so that's really all it is you don't have to be right all the time. You just need to be humble and make it correct. And that's the biggest thing. So
Good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what has been the sort of bring it into relevant to today? I obviously you're somewhat new to the dealership world. So, how have you seen the transition happening in your store with the effects of of COVID and the stay-at-home orders and sort of the general difference in the car business right now? What are you seeing there in the
What I'm seeing is it's the same thing I see in the rest of the business world. The people who are wanting to be there and purchase those things, they will purchase it regardless. If people have a need, how do you fill a need? You go and do it, right? If you need a house to live in, you go and get a house. That doesn't mean you walk up and as silly as it sounds, you don't lick your hand and then shake somebody's hand. You don't do, careless things. You do things intelligently. So that way you mitigate any kind of risk. Some clients walk in and, we're required to wear masks. I took mine off because I'm in this little tiny room right now away from everybody with a sign on the door, thankfully. But if a customer walks in and, what's your comfort level? Either a fist bump, an elbow bump. Here in the South, everybody hugs. And that's a weird thing, is that there's none of that right now, but we still want to have that personal connection with the customer, with the clients, and basically just learning proper hygiene, learning precautions, and then just being intelligent about it.
Sure.
And it's the same approach in our accessories. We want to proper process, and we want to do proper ordering, proper scheduling. We don't want to be careless, because when you're careless, that's when mistakes happen.
Yeah. Talk to me about the car sales part of it. What are you seeing? A lot of your car sales starting online and then finishing in the store, or are you delivering cars to driveways?
Not as many home deliveries as I expected when all of this started. There's a lot of interest that starts online. Usually it's just to see numbers, compare, and then if they just find that one vehicle that they just have to have, they'll pull right up here and get it. And so it really just depends on the customer's needs, and whatever approach they're comfortable with. Because we're always internet sales. I mean, that's just part of dealership life. They're going to be pushing those, I see, for the foreseeable future. I mean, I don't think that's ever going to change.
Right.
But you always have those people. They wake up one day and all of a sudden, let's go buy a Mustang.
Right.
Okay. And then they're in your dealership, and next thing you know, they're, spending money. So it's been interesting to see. Some people are very, very scared, and you can see that. And as long as you can recognize their body language, recognize their preparation before they get here.
Yeah.
As kindly as you can put it. And you can match that and respect that. That's really all anybody wants. Anyone in the world just wants to be respected, whatever their view is, whatever their look is. And that's really translated to our current situation. Yeah. So we do our best to be as respectful as possible, meet their needs while still remaining a professional, but also a safe environment.
So a little bit of a fun question for you. Of the 30 cars that you have owned in your life, tell me the one that you loved the most and why. So it's an ad lib question. I'm sorry, for our audience.
No, it's so my biggest one. My father, when I started kindergarten, he bought a 1989 Mazda RX-7 Turbo 2, and he had that pretty much my whole childhood. That's what got me started in learning. I found an old HKS magazine up in our attic one day, and I'd actually found where he had circled his little dream parts, what he had wanted to do. And that's what started this whole process for me was, well, if we have the material and we have what we need, you can plan it out. And so I remember in 8th grade, I had a notebook that I would carry around with me, and I would have, I would basically have my dream vehicles and everything that I would do to them. And I had pages upon pages, And
You
so
have been a vehicle personalization expert since middle school.
apparently, and
or,
when
or
I turned,
elementary school, maybe.
say again?
Or since elementary school, maybe. I mean, before the eighth
Well,
grade.
he actually rebuilt the RX-7 engine in our house.
Oh,
And
cool.
so that's what really started it. And when I turned 16, I had an 86 E30 series BMW. And that's what I learned to drive in. But by this point, I already had a motorcycle license. So it wasn't necessarily to learn to drive. It was just to get just back and forth to school. And so that car started having a couple issues. It had been wrecked twice, had 265,000 miles on it. And my dad decided he wanted a truck. And I came home from school one day and he handed me the keys to the RX-7.
Oh, and you got it. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
And
Okay.
so
I can see why that's your favorite. That's awesome.
yes, I'm always on the lookout for a Series 5 89 to 91 RX-7 turbo. So looks like Leslie asked, what's my daily driver?
Yeah.
Yes. So as of right now, I have two vehicles. I have a truck because I live in the north part of my county where not all the roads are paved. So, and
Sounds
my
like South
son,
Carolina.
say again?
I said, sounds like South Carolina.
Yes, very much so. My son loves to go fishing. We live near Eglin Air Force Base Reserve. It's the largest land base in the world, and there's literally thousands upon thousands of acres of land and trails and everything. So I have a 2020 Chevy Trail Boss that they're at StepOne's actually trying to talk me out of. Inside joke, but they that's like the one brand they don't sell. But I had purchased it before I worked for them, and so I use that. And I also have a 2020 wide body Charger Scat Pack that I knew I would like it, but
Nice.
I love that vehicle. It has every option I could need. It's comfortable on the highway. I'm not a small person either. I'm just under 6'3", about 240 pounds.
Holy
And that vehicle is perfect. Comfy seats, cooled seats, heated seats. It's honestly been one of the more enjoyable vehicles I've ever had. So
that's awesome. Awesome. Great question, Leslie. Oh yeah. Leslie says, nice.
Thank you, Leslie. It's been fun.
That's very cool. That's awesome. So I guess as you are continuing to build out the business there at StepOne, ultimately, what do you see that as like the main goal for that business within StepOne? And what I mean by that is a lot of times when dealerships get into it, their eyes get real big and they go, we're going to set up a custom shop and we're going to build our own brand, which nothing wrong with it.
Correct.
It's a huge model to be able to support.
We're here. That's there.
Yeah.
How do we connect?
Exactly. What do you guys, have you guys talked about a vision for something like that?
We've talked about the future. My job as the manager is to ensure day to day. And that is my focus. I let my director worry about the rest of that. He tasks me with what we need to get to where our goal is. And as we continue to build our delivery coordinator systems, refining the process, constant daily improvement, constant input. That's the big thing, because my delivery coordinators are the front line. They're going to tell me what's working, what's not working, what the customer wants, and what the customer despises. And so I use that information to continue to build this program. We have set goals each month. We have set expectations, but they're realistic. And everybody wants that slice of pie in the sky. But until you put in the work, you're never going to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm almost stammering because the what StepOne is doing is the embodiment of everything that we as a company have been promoting and trying to champion from a leadership, information leadership standpoint. That this is such a critical piece of the future of automotive. Who knows where we're going to go with self-driving cars and all of that stuff. The debate is still rampant. And the reality is people still like to dress things up, and people still like to customize, and certainly there has been no lion's share capture of that business at the dealership level. And so the process that you guys are setting up there, it can't fail as long as it's fed, right? So,
just like anything,
right. So
you have to nurture it, you have to feed it, and you have to protect it, because we're not service, we're not parts, we're not sales. We're all of them combined.
Yeah.
And we have to figure out how to work together. We have to figure out how to make it thrive. And to be honest, it's more enjoyable than I ever expected. I get to meet some of the best team members. When I get to interview someone and I know within 2 minutes, this person wants to be here, or this person does not need to be here, maybe we can find them somewhere else to work. So it's been a process.
I would like for this to be a podcast that people could look at to say, okay, what Cooper's talking about, I really want to understand a little bit more. So give me sort of top 3 things that you look for in a new hire when it comes to being a great delivery coordinator, or reality, an accessories coordinator, accessories manager, personalization coordinator. So
correct.
What are the top 3 things you look for?
First thing, I want to make sure people can read a person, read their emotions, read what they're actually being open to, receptive to. Our body language speaks more than our mouth ever will. And I know we're only getting our headshot here, but the rest of me, it's presenting something, it's presenting a language, and I need people who can read that and people who can understand that. One of our new recent hires was a psychology major, and her husband just happens to be a huge gearhead. And it turns out that the combination of her psychology versus, but in addition to her, exposure, secondhand exposure to, this industry, accessories, parts, has turned her into an incredible delivery coordinator.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's amazing. Okay. So number
Second
2.
thing, I look for enthusiasm about it.
And let me go back to number 1. I did not expect that to be your number 1 thing. So that's pretty awesome.
Well,
sorry.
No, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's I think a little bit differently than most people. I know that because I've been told that. They're like, how do you think that way? And I'm like, I don't know.
Well, look, the reality is it's gotten you through a heck of a lot of things at a heck of a lot of high level. So, keep thinking differently. So number 1. So number 2 was the enthusiasm was your.
Number 2 is enthusiasm.
So what does that mean?
I look for people who, when you're enthusiastic about something, you care about it, right?
Okay.
When you care about it, you're going to take better care of that actual thing. When it means something to you, you're going to take care of it. I take care of my car because I love driving that car. I enjoy what it does for me. I enjoy how it's an extension of my personality, how it transports my children around, how it gets me to and from my jobs. And that enthusiasm is something I won't carry it over into the sales side. If someone is selling something and they don't care about it, they're not going to sell it.
Yeah, awesome.
They're not, because they don't believe in it. If you don't believe or understand or truly, feel drawn to something, it doesn't matter what it is, you're not going to sell it. And so when I look for that enthusiasm, I have this Jeep and it's got, 35s. I got these wheels on it. I did this lift, but I didn't like that lift enough. So I went to a different one after the shocks blew. And I'm like, that's the stuff I want to know, because they've already had that firsthand experience and they already have that knowledge base, whether they even realize it or not. But when they're enthusiastic about it and when they see, this spark go off in people, I mean, I've seen memes on Facebook and on Instagram and stuff of, going to like your spouse's company party and nobody wants to talk about race cars or something. You're just kind of like, well, I'm just going to sit here the whole time. But imagine seeing that person light up when they do have that connection. Yeah. And that's what I look for in delivery coordinators, because when they have that connection, they have it with the customer.
Yeah.
And when you have that spark and when you have that enthusiasm, the rest of it comes together.
Now, can the enthusiasm be something a little bit less tangible than product knowledge? Because I guess I'm interested to see, have you taken somebody on board who didn't have a whole lot of product knowledge, but made up for it in that reading people, being a good, empathetic to, the same thing as reading people, and then having energy, that enthusiasm for it? Can they make up for the lack of product knowledge? I guess what I'm trying to do is help someone who sits there and goes, I'm a good salesperson. I understand this. I love the idea of customizing a car. I've never done it, right?
Correct.
So would I be a good candidate? And so I guess
well, that was actually going to be my third point. Is my answer is my third response is willingness to learn.
There we go. Awesome. Okay.
No one knows everything.
Right.
I don't know all of these products. I don't know all of these vehicles. But what I do know is that I will go and find the answer. And that's what I expect from my delivery coordinators. I want you to know your product. I want you to know your make. I want you to know the trim levels. What does it offer? Just basic things like that. But also, what makes sense? What's working with your customer? What's working with, your service department? I might have a call from one of our service guys. Hey, this product's garbage. Please don't ever sell one of these again. And okay, I appreciate that. How can we make this work? And I need them to make it work. Just like I need my delivery coordinators to have the enthusiasm to go and take the initiative to learn. Like with our new hires, I have them do 2 scenarios. I'll give them a person, I'll give them an age, a family, back history, and the vehicle they want. Now tell me 3 things that you feel this person would benefit from that we offer through accessories.
Nice.
And
awesome.
So it makes them think, and it literally makes them learn the process. And since day one, our process is continuing to improve, continually taking feedback, and it's basically being communicated.
Yeah, one of the things that I will be excited to hear back from you, and hopefully, we can continue to stay in touch and maybe have you on the show again, is that, again, that one time that you or your team, and it may have already happened, save a car deal. And what I mean by that is a lot of times really, 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 really good accessory departments actually can help augment car deals, save car deals, turn things around, because the customer came in with the desire to have, this truck with this limited edition, this bells and whistles, all this stuff, and just can't make it work. You could make it work with this vehicle.
Correct.
We'll install the leather.
Yep.
We'll put in the navigation system.
Yep.
We'll save about $5,000, and we can make it work. And so, has that happened? I mean, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It happens.
Awesome.
Multiple times, especially in the South, trucks are a very big part of our business. Actually, I wanted to trade mine for a new AT4 2500 that we had. It was a diesel, black on black, full option package, and it's gone because people love it. And so if I was the customer here today, okay, how can we approach this? Well, we can do cat skin leather. We can do these running boards that come standard onto Denali. We can do these things. And when you know those, like when I said I want them to know the trim levels, I want them to know what this trim level offers for accessories, or what would be accessories on another trim level.
Yeah,
and so that way we can curtail it to that. Like a couple of years ago, I bought a 2018 GMC 2500 HD, and I pulled up on the lot, and it had 20-inch Moto Metal wheels, 33-inch tires, running boards, spray and liner, tint, all the things I'm going to do to it anyways, because I'm a 30-year-old guy back then, and that's what I want.
Way back then,
way back then. But I don't want to spend the time. I want to have a polished product, and that's what we do. Is we present a polished product, and we just make it as simple as possible for the customer. Because I wanted the Denali. Could I afford it? Not really at that time. And so what I did is I said, please tell me what the difference is. What am I losing? And he's like, really, the only thing you're missing is the LCD display and painted bumpers. And I was like, I don't care about either of those things. So I'm going to buy this one for $5,000 less.
Yeah, nice.
And I mean, that was my example that brought me basically to this, to this job. And it was a great truck, Crystal. I put 50,000 miles on it in 18 months. Loved it. I love to drive. And plus with this job, I drive a lot. So it really was a great truck. But it's just like that same thing. And when we have that knowledge, and this is something we talk about with our delivery coordinators, find out what their needs are and then figure out how our accessories fit their needs.
That's awesome. Well, we are just shy of an hour, and I think we have one of the most perfect, podcasts that we've done. I really appreciate you, Cooper, because I appreciate what you brought to our industry, and you were already in the industry. I mean, since you were like 2 years old, but what you're doing is you're exemplifying. And StepOne should also needs to be credited with this to bring you in, to have the vision, to have you part of their organization, and have you build this new department within their organization that is as important as any other silo, and it brings all those silos together, and it's awesome. And you're going to make you and your team are going to make a lot of customers very happy. They're going to go home so excited because they got the vehicle that they've always dreamed of, and they had no idea they could get it at StepOne. So, so thank you.
Of course, thank you all.
The industry. Thank you for being on the show. I would ask you if someone that watches the podcast would like to reach out to you. Do you mind if we put your contact information in the comments? And certainly, I'm sure that yes, we love your enthusiasm. I would imagine that if anybody in the area around StepOne hears this and is thinking about a new career, they probably will reach out to you and inquire about any open positions. Do you have any open positions right now, or are they all filled?
So out of our 14 dealerships, we only have 4 stores with delivery coordinators actively working in them right now. And it's my special project right now, hence the title, to find fits for these stores, for these brands. And like I said, I'm looking for people that are enthusiastic. I'm looking for people that can bring problem solving skills. And I'm looking for people that can work with other departments and basically just not let the petty stuff that most dealers allow to happen. And honestly, StepOne has done an incredible job of making a very professional environment. It coming from a different industry, a very high standard of professionalism. Coming to the car industry, I didn't quite know what to expect. And I was very thankful when I realized StepOne is a professional organization. And when you have that sort of setup and background, building up with the company, it creates a very, very conducive environment to bring these products, to bring ideas, and to bring the customers what they want. Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Well, thank you for being a part of the podcast. The podcast listeners, we also want to thank you for joining in and posting your live comments. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Kim. And as always, if you have more questions, please share them in the comments below. And we constantly are monitoring our posts, and so we'll get back to you. If you want to get in touch with Cooper, we'll also put his contact information. You could obviously go to StepOneAutomotive.com, right? There may be, Indeed. Where are you posting your job postings? Indeed,
there are many different sites. We have our own internal. We have Indeed. We have everything else.
Nice.
If they are interested, StepOne does have an application for employment. Just if you're interested, delivery coordinator would be the reference, so we can get you sorted.
Look, with so many people unemployed right now, if I didn't have a job, this is the job that I would want. I would want to work for you because I think it was a lot of fun. So
it was like this job was made for me. Seriously, I never enjoyed it.
You were made for the job. I don't know, but it was awesome. So, all right, until next time, I'm David Stringer, and this has been Next Up Accessories, where we connect your next up and vehicle personalization to help you make more money and happier customers. Like this guy, he makes a lot of happy customers. So thanks for tuning in, and join us next time. Our next episode is 2 weeks from now. I'm terrible with dates. So the 5th, so it's the 12th. Oh, there it is. Thank you. August 19th. Thank you, Cameron. You're the best. Thank you, Cameron, for running behind the scenes as you always do. You're amazing, and I appreciate you. So join us back here August 19th, 1 p.m. Look out for who our next guest will be. We'll announce that in the next week or so. So thank you very much. And remember, every deal, every day. Bye-bye.